Hello everybody and welcome to Legends TV. That's right, yours truly, Vinny the Guido, will be interviewed by Evan and Steven later on this evening at the wrestling portion of the show. But right now, I got a special treat for all of you. I got blues singer Johnny Childs.
Thanks, Vinny. Thanks for having me on, Evan, and I'm going to make an attempt to play some Delta blues today in tribute to the upcoming International Blues Music Day to take place next Saturday all over the world on August 2nd. Hey! All right. Ain't going down this big road by myself. If I can't carry you, baby, I'm gonna carry me somebody else. Shine around my back door someday. Well now, sun gonna shine around my back door someday. We ain't gonna change. We ain't gonna change. Blow my blues away. by myself. If I can't carry you, baby, I'm gonna carry me somebody else. If I can't carry you, baby, I'm gonna carry me somebody else. Can't carry you, baby, I'm gonna carry me, yeah, yeah, somebody else. All right, thank you. That's a lesson in what not to do, which is try out a song for the first time on television. But all things considered, I think it went pretty good. I'm going to try another one now. This is an original called Walk the Floor. All right. This is Walk the Floor. I walk the floor to forget my trouble. I walk the floor when my money's gone. I walk the floor, forget my trouble. I walk the floor when my money's gone. Too much disturbing information riding on my brain like a hellhound biting in the rain. I walk the floor to forget my trouble. I walk the floor where mama tell her raise go. I walk the floor, forget my trouble. I walk the floor till it's time to go. Too much disturbing information riding on my brain like a hellhound. Woo! Fighting in the rain. Thank you very much. This next song is the title track off of my documentary film of the same title. This is called The Junkman's Son. I was born a junk man's son. I was born a junk man's son. All the boys say, hey junkie, what you doing? When the day is done. Seems the junk grows higher every year. Seems the junk just piles up every year. What are we gonna do when we run out of room? The answer is not too clear. They say you reap just what you sow. They say you reap just what you sow. You gotta be careful what you're putting in the ground. The seeds are bound to grow. Was born a junk man's son. I was born a junk man's son. All the boys say, hey junkie, what you doing? When the day is done. All right. Okay. I have time for one more short one. So I'll just shorten this one. Let's bring it back to the basics. This is probably the only thing I'm really qualified to do, and that's the thing I started doing when I first started playing, which is a slow blues in E. Think I'm leaving this morning, baby. Wanna know your crying won't help you now. Think I'm leaving this morning, baby. Wanna know your crying won't help you now. Yes, the whole time I was with you, baby. Well, when everybody know you wasn't no good, no how. Yes, you've been a long, long, long time coming, baby. But you finally made it home. Yes, it's been a long, long, long time coming, baby. Woman, but you finally made it home. Yes, I want you to realize, baby, woman, you don't know you got me wrong. You build my hopes so high, baby. But then, woman, yo, put me down so low. You build my hopes so high, baby. You put me down so low. Yes, you got got me walking in circles, baby. Woman, I don't know. Woman, I don't know which way to go. Thank you very much. We'll look forward to seeing you in a minute, Evan, and thank you all for having me on today. Thank you.
For nearly a decade, Evan Ginsburg's Legends Radio has featured interviews with the greatest names in the arts and sports. Heard worldwide at legendsradio.net, the program has featured these great musical legends: Ray Manzarek of The Doors, Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, Judy Collins, Roberta Flack, and many more. Stars from movies, TV, and comedy have included Jenny McCarthy, Wayne Brady, 30 Rock's Judah Friedlander, Shelley Berman, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, David Allen Greer, and Paul Mooney. Stars of pro wrestling and MMA include Bruno Sammartino, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Superstar Billy Graham, and Frank Shamrock. Co-hosted by renowned journalist Dr. Mike Lano, Legends Radio is heard Wednesdays 7 p.m. to 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard. We are archived 24/7 with hundreds of hours of classic interviews. Legends Radio also features the best in indie music, showcasing talent deserving wider exposure.
I'm from Brooklyn, baby. Don't forget the gravy. We are soldiers.
You missed the birth of your mother and father. Don't you dare miss Evan Ginsburg's Legends Radio.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is one of the largest suppliers in the world and your #1 resource for top quality, affordable tattoo and piercing supplies. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is the #1 supplier of tattoo inks in the world with more than 200 products including Mom's Ink, Philadelphia Eddie's Traditional Inks, Paolini Sacred Color Inks, and more. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply, your one-stop shopping destination for great service, best prices, and top quality supplies. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are undeniably distinctive, selected for their unique, memorable flavor. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are delivered to you in beautifully designed bottles featuring limited edition artwork. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are available at affordable prices in fine restaurants, bars, and liquor stores. Or check www.coneyislandcarlo.com for availability.
We are back with Legends TV. What a tremendous set by Johnny Childs and my co-host Steve Ludwig. What are you carrying around there, Steve? It's like 40 pounds. What is that?
Well, you've mentioned a few times on the past weeks that I retired from teaching after 38 years, and I was vice president of our teachers union. And as a gift, that's one of the many gifts I got, my fellow teachers in the union, I wrote a book, as you've mentioned, and my unofficial theme song is Paperback Writer by the Beatles. And they gave me this beautiful music sheet, silver-plated record.
I remember them.
Yeah, right. Directly from England. So it's a really thoughtful gift, and I just wanted to thank all my friends in the Teachers Union for giving me this gift. I have other gifts that I'll show in the weeks to come that are cool as well. But thank you guys very much.
And I would like to acknowledge, as always, the work and dedication that teachers do, especially since the media has been demonizing teachers for the past few years. Thank you, Fox TV, etc.
Yeah, it's ignorance.
You know.
It really is ignorance. Unless those people have been in front of a classroom who were doing that reporting, they don't know what they're talking about.
I would dare any reporter to stand in a classroom from 8:30 till 3 with a bottom 6th grade class and a miserable principal, and they couldn't do it. They would run fleeing, screaming. They have no idea what's involved.
I was lucky enough to have great administrators in my school, but otherwise, you're on a stage 24/7. You know, not 24/7, but every minute you're in the school, kids watch every single thing you do. And forget about going to the bathroom, by the way.
Kids don't have the greatest attention span these days.
No, and teachers can't go to the bathroom.
So a lot of teachers have the blues, and we have blues man Johnny Childs with us.
Nice segue back.
There you go, there you go. And I was watching your movie, The Junkman's Son, and it's fascinating. Your dad was a rabbi. You're out of Brooklyn like myself. Tell us a little about the movie and a little about yourself.
Well, I was expecting a specific question about the movie. Do you have a specific question about the movie that I could answer? It would be easier than explaining the whole movie from beginning to end.
Specific question.
It is a movie.
How did you become a blues man raised by a rabbi? I mean, it's an interesting, you know.
Okay, well, the movie is a feature-length documentary entitled The Junkman's Son, and it's actually autobiographical in the sense that I directed and edited the movie over an 8-year period, and it's about the first 30 years of my life, and it tells the story of how I started out as a one of 10 kids in an ultra-Orthodox family, and became a 8-year-old runaway, and some of the adventures that I went on to,
and misadventures.
And misadventures that I went on to experience, leading up to discovering the blues and eventually pursuing that as my full-time career. And luckily, a lot of those experiences were captured on camera somehow. Don't ask me how, but I saved them. And then over a 6 to 8 year period, I actually had to figure out the process of filmmaking. And I took these 200 hours of archival footage of my life, plus we shot 6 months in the present time. And so we were able to tell a current story as well as flashback and tell the backstory. But basically, I'm one of 10 kids. I'm the one that sort of went off the path of ultra-Orthodoxy and had to find my own way, the hard way, if you will, the long way. And blues is obviously it. It's my way.
Where does an 8-year-old run to? Seriously, was it one of those, I'm leaving, I'm never coming back, and you come back in an hour, or did you actually go to an aunt's house or something?
Well, I mean, if I was going to get specific, you know, it started out as being sent away from home and eventually led to just running away from home. So it was a cumulative process of being sent away, live here or there, and due to whatever, due to what the circumstances at the time. So eventually, you know, I just realized that coming home just wasn't really an option. It was a whole different world.
And there have been some great music documentaries, Standing in the Shadows of Motown, Buena Vista Social Club, Searching for Sugar Man, etc., that have really made people's careers. And this is a great film. I was thoroughly enjoying it. How do you take a documentary and really maximize the effect to help your career?
Well, first of all, you got to make a great documentary.
Which it is.
Thank you.
I was thoroughly engrossed.
And I'm
not saying it to butter you up. I mean, I've made a music documentary. I know what's involved. It's not easy.
I appreciate that a lot because obviously you took the time to check it out. And I've done interviews where people haven't seen the movie. They've only seen the trailer.
Right.
And they're basically coming on and they're just saying, so what's your movie about? Which is fine. I appreciate that too. But it's a very in-depth movie. There's probably 1 million edits in it. There's probably 160 scenes.
Right.
It's a backstory. It's a 30-year life brought to the big screen.
Your brother has addiction problems. That's one of the subplots, quote-unquote subplots.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of, it gets very personal, and it's not a puff piece to make me look good at all.
Yeah, warts and all. Warts and all.
It's just, it's a real story, and people always told me my life should be a movie, and I'm sure other people get that too, but I actually just took it seriously and decided to make that movie.
Well, instead of us just talking about it, why don't we show the trailer? Let the people see what we're talking about.
Okay.
The Junkman's Son, a trailer, folks. Enjoy.
It's crazy. It's enough already. It's enough already. Sign him so I don't have to deal with this shit. That's what I say. Sign him so I don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
What you need to do is you need to get a promoter.
I think he's definitely capable. He's smart. He's had a lot of businesses. He knows a lot of people. There's something that's not happening, or maybe it's not his time yet.
There's a lot of positive changes I need to make in that same time that I want to try and get signed as an artist.
I love his style of music. I love what he's doing because he's different.
You
know, that shit's good, dog. It's got a good beat, good rhythm.
You know, I like your playing because it's adventurous, you know, you're wacky. I like that.
He's an artist, but he's like everybody else. He wants to have a wife, he wants to have kids. And the older you get, you think about that, because you realize the clock is ticking.
Studio.
I know what it is. It's been in here 5 times already.
Yeah.
For a sound guy on the outside, he is super crazy on the inside.
I think he was arrested at least a half a dozen times before his bar mitzvah.
The dude is do anything to make it, anything. The craziest ideas this guy has.
Once he sets his mind on something, he has a dream and he has an idea in his mind, that's what he does.
And when I had my money...
What record label signs blues anymore?
All of them have a blues subsidiary now, I hope.
Now my money's gone. Woo, and it's so long, Johnny.
Do you have 20 you could lend me?
I think it's dire and hopeless. I don't think there's any chance that he's going to do it. If anybody was going to be able to pull it off in the 11th hour, of course it would be him. But the chances are so slim that I severely doubt it.
Nobody in my own family knows my potential. All you guys know is that I've been broke for 10 years. You know what? You guys will see the light the same time I see the light.
Wow, great
Junkman's
trail.
son. Check it out, folks. And one of the themes in the movie is promotion. You're promoting yourself. I've had many, many blues artists on the show, tremendous artists, Robert Ross, Felix Cabrera, Bill Hellingmad Perry, Lucius Spiller, Speedo Harmonica Jones, etc., so on, all in our archives. We support the blues here. But what I notice with a lot of blues players is they're not great on promotion. You have a huge event next Saturday. You have a blues society. You have a podcast. I don't even know where to start. Tell us about next Saturday.
Well, next Saturday, thanks for noticing all those things, by the way.
Notice and respect these things.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Next Saturday is the second annual International Blues Music Day, which is obviously a day for the world to celebrate blues music, a day for the world to unite in celebration of the blues. And I'm producing the New York City event, which is going to be a 6-hour Delta Blues Festival at Groove in New York City, which is on McDougal Street, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, August 2nd. So definitely if you're in New York City and you want to support the blues, you want to support International Blues Music Day, and have a good time, come down to Groove next Saturday afternoon. The event will coincide with over 100 blues festivals taking place simultaneously on that day around the world in over 50 countries.
And you helped organize all of this, is that it?
I didn't just help organize it. I was the brainchild behind the establishment of International Blues Music Day.
That's very impressive.
And
Very impressive.
I spent 3 years promoting the cause and getting blues societies all over the world to come on board and produce events in their cities and countries. And last year we had a tremendous inaugural celebration all over the world. It's set to take place the first Saturday in August every year. And I'm very pleased with what happened on year one, and I'm looking forward to next Saturday where we're doing it again. And hopefully it will grow from year to year, because the blues deserves its own day. And I think it's a great way to promote not just one artist or one blues society or one city, but the genre in a way that it deserves to be promoted, which is on a global scale.
Absolutely.
And hopefully bring in new fans, which is the ultimate goal and the thing that will help everybody. But also, this point shouldn't get lost on, we really want to pay tribute to the pioneers and the legends that have been playing and recording this music and influencing generations and the entire world to play blues and enjoy blues today.
And I think it's absolutely disgraceful that in a city like New York, one blues club after another goes under. And, much respect to you for helping to keep it all alive, really. And tell us about your New York blues-based society that you started.
The New York City Blues Society, I actually am the founding president. I started that about 5 years ago, and it was for the exact reason that you mentioned. I had left New York in the early 90s, and I went to Los Angeles to sort of hone my craft. When I came back here in 2005, I realized we had gone from 18 blues venues to 1 or 2, and I decided to start the New York City Blues Society to try to create much-needed organization that didn't exist. And fans didn't. There's a lot of blues fans in New York City, and there's a lot of blues acts, but they really don't know about each other or didn't. And so I decided to try to do something to help create some organization where the fans and the performers can be aware of what the other is doing, and so to speak. And we do that by compiling the most comprehensive blues calendar in the tri-state area on our website, the New York City Blues Calendar. We list 600 to 700 gigs a month.
Wow.
We list every blues gig within 75 miles of Manhattan in all directions. So if you have a car, you can take a 40-minute drive to see any national,
So
local,
Steve's
original
out in New
act.
Jersey. You have all the Jersey clubs.
Yeah.
The idea is not only to, I've been doing this calendar for several years, but I'm also trying to encourage other blues societies in other cities to do it, because it's a void that needs to be filled across America. There's people want to hear blues and they don't know who to go see, so it's just a
And the
basic
artists themselves, my experience has been, there's blame to go all around. The artist will go, by the way, I'm gigging tonight at 9 o'clock, and you're seeing this on Facebook at 10 o'clock. And it's like, it's absurd. They think this is promotion. Then the fans, a lot of the fans are so happy to sit on a couch in front of a TV or a computer or a video game that they're not going out and supporting the art like they should. It's, people need to support the blues. The artists need to promote it better. The club owners need to get more hands-on. A lot of the club owners, all they do is list a name in some, list with 30 other bands.
Right.
And there's blame to go around.
There's a million things wrong with the blues industry, and I could talk about that all day. And there's also a million things right with the blues industry, and it just is something that we need to, those of us that are passionate about it, need to continue to focus on thinking outside of the box and thinking of new ways to promote everything from an individual act to a community, to a city, to a country, and in terms of International Blues Music Day, in fact, globally. And I'm sure you're going to help us plug our websites, but
absolutely,
real quick, I wanted your audience to know if you want to participate or celebrate International Blues Music Day with the worldwide community of blues fans, please check out, can I say it?
Absolutely.
It's just internationalbluesmusicday.com, and you can find an event near you.
And while you're doing this,
you could organize one. You could organize one.
Give out all your social media while you're doing this.
Well, for all things Johnny Childs, if you want to see my actual band, not just me playing an old rusty acoustic guitar, you can go to my website and check out johnnychilds.com. You can check out my movie if you want. You can check out some music videos, my last 3 CDs, everything's on there. My podcast, which you referenced earlier, I started the first blues talk show format that's also a comedy format in blues through my podcast, which is the Johnny Childs Podcast, and we have 10 episodes up on my website for free. The first season is up of the Johnny Childs Podcast. And I'll be back sometime after Blues Day to start season 2. So if you want to hear a blues comedy talk show,
that's an interesting
that's
combination.
where you want to go. You can just see for yourself what it is. Also, the New York City Blues Society, you could find them at nyblues.org and go hear some blues on any given night. And there's a lot of exciting things happening there. And, of course, International Blues Music Day, which is the thing that's happening right now, coming up in just a week from now.
Now, I have blues artists come on, and they literally will say, I'm an artist. It's not my job to publicize. It's the club's job. I'm quoting. And I'm like, well, I understand your perspective, but you're going to play in front of a room full of chairs because you can't count on the club owners doing a good job either. I've booked clubs, believe me. I'm not talking out of my ass. I've seen it.
Right.
So what do you say to an artist who's just not willing to promote himself?
I'm gonna try to think of a polite way to say this.
Yeah.
In many cases, an artist that's not promoting themselves is probably just not that good. And I'll tell you why I say
Not necessarily.
that. Okay, no, there's exceptions to that.
Yeah,
there's exceptions. There's old black blues legends that won't leave their apartment because they're just tired.
Right.
And I can understand that. And there's some young white Jewish guy comes along and gets them a bunch of gigs. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the average blues band. The reason it's average is because that's what most people are. They're average.
Sure.
So the average blues band, if they're not promoting themselves, it's because, and just hear me out.
Yeah.
The reason I say is they're probably not that good is this. When you have a talent that's exceptional, God gives you an incredible drive to share that talent with other people. So if you don't have that drive, then you might want to back up and continue working on the talent aspect, because when you get it, you have to share it.
Right.
It's not an option. So if you're not promoting yourself, you're not motivated, and if you're not motivated, you might not be that talented. That's one category. As far as the people that are talented and not promoting, you reap what you sow. If you don't promote, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's not just about promoting your gig, it's about promoting your name and your brand, because ultimately that's what's going to get you the gig, and that's what's going to get people there. So you have to constantly find creative ways to promote your stage name, for lack of a better way of putting it, even when you don't have a gig. I understand it's hard to get motivated to promote when you have one gig a year and you're just like, oh, screw it. But that's not an excuse to not continue to be promoting to not continuously promote your brand and your name.
Right.
You have to do it.
And one final question. Blues influences. Who are some of the guys who made you love the blues?
Well, I'll just tell you the obvious ones because there's really, you try to learn something from everybody. But I studied, of course, all the greats, John Lee Hooker, Albert King, Albert Collins, B.B. King, Robert Cray, Jimmy Vaughan, Stevie Ray, anyone that says less with more, or more with less. I always get that wrong, but I live it. But
more with less.
I'm dyslexic when anyone that says more with less. I really enjoy the minimalist approach to blues. And I also studied Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, and all the blues rock guys. Don't get me wrong. It's good to learn that, and it's fun to learn that. The key is to forget it. The key is to learn it, internalize it, forget it, and then go back to playing one note, let it breathe, short burst, flurry, let it breathe. And that's another thing a lot of blues musicians just don't do. They don't respect breath.
Interesting.
Don't just play a note because you can. If you don't breathe, then the notes you play don't mean anything. Let it breathe. And if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Listen to all the greats.
Interesting.
And listen for the breath. You'll always see it.
Steve's a big music fan. Favorite guitarist?
Boy, it's tough. Like Johnny was just saying, there's so many too. I'm a Beatles fan, but I'll say George Harrison was not the greatest lead guitarist, but I think he played. It's important to me to play toward the song, you know. And I'm not really big with the flashy guitars. If they blend in well with the song, you almost don't know they're there. But if they're not there, then you miss them. Yeah. Any guitar that's like that doesn't try to overstate his
so you appreciate
welcome.
Minimalism.
Yes, as Johnny was saying.
I was preaching specifically to blues players because they tend to do a lot of soloing, and that's where the breath really becomes important. But it's also important just as a general musical rule.
Yeah. If they're not there, you realize they're missing, but they're there, and they make the song better. Any guitarist.
And by the way, Yngwie Malmsteen and Steve Vai have great breath. Yes, they overplay, and yes, they could play a quarter of that. But when you listen to them overall, they do have great timing and great phrasing and breath.
You know what I find interesting with the blues players, and I'll leave it at this. A lot of them, I'll say, like, for example, I loved Albert Collins, master of the Telecaster. He was a showman, and they'll go, oh, you know, that's just a show band. He, you know, and then sometimes they're very picky, the artists themselves, but I loved Albert. Albert was awesome. I mean, he'd walk right through the crowd, and like the Red Sea would part, and it would, you know, I was really sad when he passed.
Albert was one of the greats in terms of playing and his showmanship. But again, there's a guy that really practiced the principle of don't play a note unless you mean it. And that is something that I think separates the greats from the rest. And that is something that I personally always try to incorporate. And I think everybody should, that wants to play blues and be great, should take those specific lessons from the greats, which is breath, and don't play a note unless you mean it. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm just some Jewish guy preaching about blues, but I lived it. I play it. I practice what I preach, and I'm just trying to help some of the.
I'm a Jewish guy talking about blues. And I loved Ernie Isley from the Isley Brothers, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, there you go. There's a reference I'll never figure out, but thank you very much.
There you go. Johnny Childs. We'll be right back with our wrestling segment. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
And we are back with our wrestling segment. We are joined by General Romero from the WWO, our home promotion out at the Elks Lodge, journalist Mike Brown, and the famous Vinny the Guido. So, guys, why don't we start with the obvious WWE. I've been watching lately. I've been very disappointed. Since they disbanded the Shield, I think it's really taking a downturn. It's just not as entertaining. Any reactions?
I totally agree. I mean, I love the Shield. And
Me
the
too.
The Shield really brought me back a lot of years.
Best tag team in 20 years since the Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually surprised you that it's disappointing?
I mean, I was actually enjoying it for a while, and I'm not a big WWE fan, but once they broke it up, it's gotten tired. How many times do we need to see Kane, Randy Orton, Cena? It's so played out. Anybody? Just jump in, guys.
My kids are fans of it, but you know, here's the thing: when you're in the business, you grow to hate it fast. It's just, you know, between the politics, the baby drama. I mean, honestly, the stuff backstage is more entertaining than the stuff in the ring these days. it's like
I had left it for a while.
Yeah.
I loved it. I stopped watching then when Punk was in the middle of it all, and Daniel Bryan. Then I started watching it again. Now I just don't care. If I miss it, who cares? I'll read all the crap on the internet that people are complaining about it anyway.
Well, Steve, I wish I stayed a fan, because once I got into the business, I grew to hate it really quick.
Yeah.
Knowing all the baby drama that's going, I'm not even kidding. And this is no knock to any of my friends or anything, but I'm just being real. And if you want to hate me. But you know me, I shoot it straight. I say it like it is. And the bottom line is that my kids, who are 11 and 13 years old, acts more mature than most of the boys in the back, and it's pretty sad. I mean, I'm immature, don't get me wrong. I do it on purpose. I mean, I make it a craft to be, you know, grown accustomed to how I am, but I also make adult decisions, though. I know when to stop and when to be immature. But to make careless, bad decisions on a night in and night out basis and act like complete schmuck backstage, and it's just not.
Like, I'm a layman. Give me an example. No names, but like what are some of the schmucky things they do?
Well, besides some of the promoters who are shady that decide to skip out before they start paying all the boys what they're supposed to, that's one thing. Then you got people that are, you know, bringing their outside life backstage, and it's like, you know, they bring their woman backstage, and where she doesn't belong. If she's not on the show, she does not belong in the locker room.
I've heard that on professional boxing shows. You know, the cut man's working on somebody and the girlfriend's there. It's like, what's that all about?
And then on top of that, you get them arguing over petty stuff because, you know, like, oh, you know, like they start arguments for no apparent reason backstage. I'm the type of person, I go there, I walk around, say hi to fans, do what I got to do, you know, blah, blah, blah. And if people have a problem with me because of something, you know, take it up with me after the show, away from the fans, away from the boys in the locker room. You have something to say to me? Say it to me. Call me. Meet me in person. Just don't do it at a wrestling show where there's fans. And because not for nothing, I don't want to see people, and whether they're talking to me or they're talking to somebody else, if there's always an issue, it's like they got to hash it out backstage. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody does.
But even jumping back to what Evan said about the WWE, we were talking in the back. There's no build-up anymore. It's just thrown in front of you.
Right. Right.
That's true.
See, that's why I like for me, enough with WWE and not to WWO and the independence, because I like independence because it has storylines. It's more, for me, like I said last time I was here, it's more entertaining for the fans. You know what I'm saying? It's more fan interaction. At intermission, you could actually get an autograph, take a picture with a fan.
Exactly. I love it.
You know, like we were talking about the pricing. Like to go backstage at WWE is like almost $600. There is the ticket, and maybe $10, $12 for the autograph. You know, you have more fun. It's a smaller crowd, but it's a more livelier crowd. It's more entertaining.
And what you find is, and Mike will tell you, I saw Bray Wyatt on an indie last year, right? Before he hit big in WWE. Guys like Daniel Bryan and Cesaro and you know, all these guys, Davey Richards and
Tyler Black.
You know, all these guys, Tyler Black. We saw them before they were anybody, and you know, right up close and personal, like we're talking here.
That's what's so good about it. Like, you know, like if you guys want to see a good indie show, August 23rd, WWO at the Elks Lodge, 8220 Queens Boulevard. You know, it's going to be an excellent show. And for all those who want to train to be a professional wrestler, they got the Guerrilla Camp, 1630 Warfield Avenue, between Cypress and Wyckoff. You know, you want to learn to be a wrestler, trainer, valet, whatever, go over there. They got a great training facility, great trainers, you know, that will help you, lead you in the right path. You know, and as for me, the General, WWO, Battle Royal, get ready, because I came from Spain for one reason, to seek, search, and conquer.
There you go.
And if you mess with me long enough, maybe I'll destroy. But why destroy a good thing? Just have it all to myself.
And later
You
we're going
know?
to see a promo from WWO, and I love indies. I mean, I understand the flaws as well. You'll get some kid who's, you know, he does 37 high spots, he doesn't sell, he misses one spot, he stops like a deer in the headlights, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
You know? But on the other hand, you see some really great athletes like Homicide and
Homicide
guys
is
like that.
Homicide is great. You got Loki, you know, you got Chris Dickinson from CCW, who he's like a modern day Loki. You know, you got Amazing Red.
Speaking of Chris's, Christopher Daniels is back on the indie scene. How great is that guy? He's a machine.
That's awesome. And he always worked for the crowd. Whether he was TNA and all, he was to me one of the best sellers.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the greatest of all time. He could sell his butt off.
Kaz is good too.
You know? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kaz and Dan. I think that was the greatest tag team put together in TNA.
Yeah.
See, I love the American Wolves, but they're wasted on TNA. They would go 20 minutes with Ring of Honor. They'd burn the house down. On TNA, they're on for 5 minutes. They have some stupid run-in, some stupid angle. They nuded them in TNA.
But
wasted.
ROH is going to do something great with them. I know it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the ROH. I mean, to me, that's more their style.
Daniels
anyway,
and Kazarian. Yeah.
ROH is like, to me, is like, you know, no BS, straight wrestling, just like House of Hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Dreamer. Like, to me, those are good independent feds. When you can sell out the Mid-Hudson Center,
Oh yeah.
you know, in Poughkeepsie, that's crazy.
And you were talking about Hog with Amazing Red, and tell us
Yeah,
about them.
Hog with Amazing Red. You know, they're a good school. Like, I just started with them. I just trained with them because I found out that, you know, they have a more modernized, better way. And I've only been with them for like 3 weeks, but they're great. You know, they're a great group of guys.
Amazing Red is great. And 20 years ago, he wouldn't have made it because he's so little, but it's good the business has changed where you don't have to be a giant.
Yeah, it's modernized. And sometimes you got to adapt, you know, from the old 80s style to now. Things are done differently for reasons. You know, people, it's just like anything with science, everything is evolution. You know, things evolve.
Right.
You know, and that's what they try to teach the guys over there.
So who are some of your favorites on the indie scene?
Anytime I see Homicide.
Homicide's great.
You know, going back to the Doghouse days, anytime I see him.
And speaking of the Doghouse, right here, next Saturday morning, we are going to have a tribute to Bobby Lombardi. He will be joining us. Bobby's had some health issues.
God bless him.
And we're going to have Christopher Michaels and Grim Reaper and possibly Frankie Stars. And we're going to, you know, let the world know what Bobby Lombardi did for wrestling, weaning guys like Homicide and Low Key, and not every promoter gets his due, and we're going to give it to him next Saturday right here on Legends TV. So that's going to be something special. And what do you guys have coming up? Any big shows, Vinny?
Actually, I know this is going to sound... I mean, all right, a while ago, April Fool's, everyone, for those that don't know, I pulled an April Fool's joke on my Facebook page saying that I was retiring and whatever, and everybody made a big woo, like, you know. And to this day, the people, I guess, that didn't see what I posted after that, April Fool's, ha, 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 I guess some people didn't see that. So rumors started flying that I was retiring. I didn't retire, folks. But I did, however, take a lot of time off. You know, my kids are getting bigger now, so I want to be able to do father and sons things with them. To me, I think family is more important than business.
More important than wrestling?
Bro,
I'm joking.
Where are your priorities?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean,
How old are these kids?
my son Dylan just turned 11, and
He could fend for himself.
I know.
I'm joking.
And
I'm joking.
Vincent just turned. You know, he's turning 13 August 3rd coming up, and
Johnny
you know,
Child ran away at 8. Come on.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but I want to be. You know, I'd rather, like, anybody could be a mother and a father, but it takes someone special to be a mommy and a daddy. And I don't want to be like any other sperm. I don't want to be like a sperm donor because there's too many of those these days. I want to be a dad to my children, and to me, family is more important than business, and business is more important than pleasure. That's the way priorities are supposed to be, but lately I see a lot of people do things completely rear end backwards. So I've taken time off, but I didn't quit. I didn't retire. You know, I'm gonna do maybe shows once in a blue moon, but I'm just focusing on me being a father and a dad right now, and to me that's
a public service announcement from Vinny the Guido. Be a dad, folks, not a sperm donor. There you
Be
go.
a dad, not a Guido.
That's right. That's right. So I would be remiss with Mike sitting here, a true historian. Name the 5 greatest matches you've ever seen off the top of your head. I know that's a ridiculous question, but
Patterson Backlund in the Garden.
Cage match?
Actually, every single one of them.
They were all great.
Yeah.
I was there, yeah.
Slaughter and the Sheik boot camp match.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome.
bad.
I saw that live twice.
The first
Comac Arena.
Andre and Hulk at Shea Stadium.
I disagree, but it was a big deal. It wasn't a great match.
No, but it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And I would say I used to love The Godfather. He used to wrestle out of Brooklyn. He used to, not The Godfather, the guy used to have the snake. Big snake.
Jake Roberts.
No.
Bodyguard for Hire?
Bodyguard for Hire, yes, thank you.
Yeah, great brawls, that guy.
Him and
with Chris Michaels.
And
yeah.
Bodyguard and Salvatore Belomo.
Right.
Great stuff.
Shops, I know you.
Great.
Flair Steamboat. Midnight Express against Rock and Roll Express, right?
Oh, yeah.
Terry Funk and Ric Flair. The I Quit match, I was there live. Yeah, I'm going off the top of my head. Great matches.
Not for nothing, but another great match that I love was, like, I was talking to him in the back, WrestleMania 3, Piper and Adonis. You know, to me, that was what.
What about Steamboat and
Macho Man?
And Macho Man.
Yeah, we're talking about that too. Those are the two.
That was
to
art.
me, WrestleMania 3, they took the cake.
That was art.
You know, Piper and Adonis took it before intermission, and they took it after.
This is what people that don't know wrestling don't understand. Wrestling is like everything else. It could be garbage or it could be art. Flair and Steamboat and Macho Man, that's art.
Dusty Rhodes winning the Steel Cage Battle Royal. What did they call that in NWA back then? It was the
War Games.
No,
War Games.
No. I'm talking about way before WCW. I'm talking about like
Bunkhouse Stampede.
it was like NWA. It was like just when World Championship Wrestling was starting to take over. It was when Dusty Rhodes won it I think it was 3 years in a row. It was like a Steel Cage Battle Royal where you had to actually eliminate them from the cage. And the last person, and at the end, he wins this big giant boot as a trophy or whatever. Remember, it was the last one they had was at the Coliseum. It was many years ago. It was before WCW. It was
I remember.
What would they call
Stampede.
Bunkhouse Stampede.
Oh yeah, those were great. Those were great.
It was at the National Coliseum. I remember.
Yeah, I was there.
What about the electrified cage at Halloween Havoc? That Bruno Sammartino was the referee. NWA Halloween Havoc, 1989. It was the Great Muta with Terry Funk against Sting and Ric Flair.
I love Terry Funk. With all my heart and soul.
He's one of the greatest.
My favorite Halloween Havoc, though, I have to say, was when they had that weird-looking cage with the roof and the electric chair, and Abdul the Butcher got thrown and Mick Foley hit the thing, and it caused the war between Mick Foley and Abdul the Butcher.
Yeah. That was great. Even like they have this independent guy, Low Life Louie. You know, who's a great hardcore.
I love Low Life Louie.
He's a great hardcore.
Louie against Homicide. The Christmas death matches. Those were great. Those were great.
That was great.
We're going to take a brief pause and show these 2 videos, folks. These 2 wrestling-related videos, including a WWO promo. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mark Novotarski, producer of the documentary that's taking the professional wrestling world by storm, Battles, Bouts, and Brawls. The story of professional wrestling in Detroit and its surrounding areas. And let me tell you, there are so many people in this program to give you an idea of the impact that pro wrestling out of Detroit has and still has and has had over the country and over the world is in this program. Ox Baker, the man with the heart punch, Kevin Nash, Sabu, Rob Van Dam, Ring of Honor's Truth Martini, and Jimmy Jacobs. The Rude Boy, Rudy Hill. XICW's DBA. You'll hear lost interviews, archival interviews with the Sheik and his manager Abdullah Farouk, Pompero Firpo, and Wild Bull Curry. Long lost interviews uncovered. You'll hear them talking about pro wrestling in Detroit. Hollywood producer, director, and former wrestler Fred Olin Ray is in this program. Historians from around the country. But right now, let's hear what educator, radio show host, talk show host, and associate producer of the motion picture The Wrestler. I'm talking now about Evan Ginsburg. Let's hear what Evan has to say about pro wrestling in Detroit and its impact.
Some of the best nights of my life was spent watching wrestling, and the fact that we've preserved this on film with The Wrestler, and even with some of the radio interviews, which will float around in cyberspace long after I'm gone, you know, people, I want to listen to this guy's interview, you know. And some of the wrestlers, you know, they're in a like a Killer Kowalski, you know, in a different age, in a different time, 500 years ago, he would have been a king. He would have been a king. These guys have wined and dined with kings. These guys have wrestled in front of oil sheiks. These guys have wrestled in front of royalty. They've traveled every corner of the globe. They're a lot more interesting and diverse and eclectic than most 9-to-5ers. True, you have the women chasing, you know, drinking, drug abusing, you know, macho, you know, jerks, but you also have some very, very interesting people who are larger than life. And having worked in both worlds, film and wrestling, I would say for the most part, the wrestlers are far more charismatic and larger than life than the actors.
And that, folks, was Evan Ginsburg. Thank you, Evan. Now, how can you get Battles, Bouts, and Brawls, or the documentary just before it, which I produced, The Sheik, Wrestling's Greatest Villain? Folks, go to insent.net. Click the links, and within a short span of time, you'll have the documentaries taking the wrestling world by storm can be yours.
WWO TV Indimento. I'm all in. Yeah.
Miss the birth of your mother and father. Don't miss August 23rd, the WWO at the Elks Lodge. Who'd I steal that from? Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd. Anyway, guys, quick plugs. Any websites, social media, upcoming matches?
Well, I got a show August 9th. I got a 2KW at Darrow's Gym in the Bronx. August 16th is the Hog Show at 1630 Wellford Avenue. You don't want to miss that. And August 23rd, I got WWO. Like I said before, I am going to take the Heavyweight Championship at the Battle Royal. September 6th, I got SWA. And if you want to look up anything, you can look up at my agent's page, George Rosario, at Facebook. And basically, pretty much it.
There you go.
And at the WWO website.
And Mike works for a very charitable organization. Tell us about the organization.
Okay. I work for an agency called Fountain House. We're in New York City, and we work with mentally ill adults. And Evan was really cool. About a month and a half ago, we showed The Wrestler, and he not only came out, but he introduced the film and stuck around and took a million questions.
My sister's Down syndrome, so actually, I have a sister who's Down syndrome.
Oh,
My
okay.
parents adopted her, so she's a real sweetheart.
My mom has a history of mental illness, and society has to do more for people. A lot of people just fall between
Good.
the cracks.
Good for you, man.
So much
Thank you.
respect to
Thank
Mike
you.
for what he
yeah,
does.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Much respect.
And getting back to more important things like pro wrestling. I'm kidding. Vinny, plug your stuff, Vinny.
Never ends.
You better hope there's not a hell.
Never ends.
Yeah.
Actually, I like to give a shout out to my boy Bobby Horn, aka Sir Mo from Men on a Mission. I want to help him, give a plug to his charity that he's doing right now. It's called bullymaniaorg.blogspot.com. Check it out. Please check that out. It's about, because let's face it, bullying still goes on to this day in schools and stuff. And, now you got social media bullying, you got all different kinds of stages of bullying, and these things need to be addressed and need to be talked more about in schools and stuff like that. I completely commend and 100% support my boy Bobby Horn for doing what he's doing.
He's a good guy.
I think
Just
that's
have him
a
on
great,
my radio
it's
show.
a great charity. Again, that's bullymaniaorg.blogspot.com. So check that out. Also, Hutchison Hutchison Disability something. Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on. Ah, crap. Wait, hold on, I got it. Got it. It is HutchisonDisabilityConsulting.com. So check that out. Basically, it's about helping people with disabilities again. The Chrysalis Foundation, it's because the government cut the funding for the mobility of getting around for the handicapped community and stuff like that. So what we're doing is we're trying to raise money for that reason, which is something the government should be doing and they're not. And we're going to try to help support the the handicapped community getting around and other things also. But it's a good charity, so check it out. HutchisonDisabilityConsulting.com. For the horror fans out there, my fiance does horror blogging.
Good blog. I read
Zainab,
it.
yes, you've had her on your radio show. So she basically it's Nightmare Nook horrorblog.com. So check that out also. And Vinny the Guido, you want to check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/official Vinny the Guido.
All right. And folks, when we come back, we're going to do the old American Bandstand-like rate a video, not rate a record. We're going to bring back Johnny Childs. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. was a kid, folks, we used to watch American Bandstand, and the teenagers would rate a record, and inevitably the idiot kid would go, it has a good beat and you could dance to it. They said the same exact thing for every single song. We're going to try to be a little more introspective, and this video is from Felix Linden, and he submitted this to Legends TV. And you could submit your videos to Legends TV for a worldwide audience, 80+ countries. See what you think, folks. Felix Linden. Enjoy.
Defense and medical, poor man and millionaire. Everyone must get a trim, so have a seat in the chair. Then the barber said, oops, look like I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come clean. Those who working overtime, folks in unemployment line, those who hold a PhD, and the deaf, dumb, and blind. Barbara cries, oops, look like I nicked you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come clean. Those of us whose lives are red, those dependent on a check, Lord knows ain't nothing cooler than hot clippers on your neck. Still the barber says, oops, look like I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come clean. Start to sing the blues because your cut long overdue. Don't go thinking it's unfair. The barber gets a cut too. Then the barber says, oops, look like I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come, time to come, time to complain. Look like I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come, time to come, time to complain. Oops, look like I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. Keep your head still if you will. It's time to complain. Barbara cry. I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine. It's been growing way too long, and it's time to come, time to come, time to complain. Oops, I nick you now. Relax and read a magazine.
All right, Felix Linden's next, and I'm going to go to Johnny Childs, our music expert. What do you think, Johnny?
What do I think?
Yeah.
There's no words that can describe what I think. Was that a music video? Because it looked like a slideshow from a 3-year-old's birthday party. But I mean, honestly, if you're going to give this guy airtime, I don't know that, and I appreciate the opportunity you having me on. I don't know that I can spend another minute on a show that would even give this guy 3.5 minutes of airtime. I'm
like
out.
a heel wrestler, this guy.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Vinny the Guido.
I like the music. I mean, I like the fact that it had a lot of ball guys on there. That was pretty
There you go.
Yeah. That's got to support all the ball people, you know.
So you like the music.
I like the music. The video was, you know, I mean, I couldn't really see in this little thing like that, but got a lot of ball guys. I like it.
All right. Mike Brown.
All right. Well, the video, not so great. The sound, I didn't hear anything original in it.
Okay. General Romero.
My salute to the beat, the instrumentals. I guess there's a little bit Eric Clapton-ish, Santana-ish, but that's about it.
That's what I thought.
All right, and Steve, you're a music lover?
Like Vinny the Guido, I too have grown too tall for my hairline. So I appreciate the visuals. I like General Romero said, I like the Santana beat. So music-wise, I liked it. Pictures were kind of just, okay. But the music, I appreciated.
Okay, so a mixed review of sorts to Felix Linden's Next. So, folks, we will be back next week with Legends TV, and as I stated earlier, a tribute to Bobby Lombardi, who will be here. And if you go to my Facebook page and Christopher Michael's Facebook page and throughout the internet, you could actually donate. We're collecting money for Bobby, and we're going to really try to do good by him. He's one of the unsung heroes of the wrestling business, right, guys?
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
Mike used to go to the Doghouse shows.
Every week.
Yeah. So look for that on Evan Ginsburg, EvanGinzburg. Look at my Facebook page and help if you can. And if not, just watch next week.
Thanks for having us on, guys. Honestly,
Absolutely.
You guys are great. Thank you again for having us back on here.
Thank you. You're a good MC. You opened the show for us and closed the show for us. Vinny the Guido. Yeah, there you go. So that'll about do it, folks. Legends TV each and every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, right here at MadhouseTV.com. 36 other shows on this station, so check them out. And check out Tommy Ma's show as well, which is just tremendous if you like music. And that'll about do it. And check out Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture. Tell them quickly.
PlanetLudwig.com. Thank you.
There you go.
There you go.
Catch you next
Short,
week,
sweet, to the
folks.
point.
That'll do it. Signing off.